This is Tuesday, February 29th, and we have Joanne and Becky here. You want to tell us your name and age if you'd like, or?
Oh, I'm Joanne Ford, and I'm 76 years old.
And I'm Becky Kayden, and I'm 55 years old.
And were you both born in Elmore?
No,
No? Where
No.
did you originally come from, if you didn't?
Gibsonburg.
Okay. Same area.
You was born in Gibsonburg.
Gibsonburg, yeah.
Okay. And, well, let's get to, why don't we just go into what you want to tell us? Why don't you go ahead and start? I may have some questions along the way to expand on things, but why don't you just go ahead with what you have?
Well, I think the first building that my husband started was it was called the Opera House. And that was, we bought that from Jim Dolph. And my husband thought about remodeling. So when I went inside to look at the inside, I looked up and all I could see was sky. The floor was gone upstairs and the roof was gone on top. So
So it was completely gutted.
It was a mess.
it was a mess. We had to clean the bottom part out first because there was old dancing shoes in there because they used to have dance lessons in there. And little outfits too, wasn't there, laying in there?
Yeah,
That
there was
table.
just all kinds of
mess.
stuff.
It was just a mess. Well, we got it cleaned up. So, and then they started remodeling. And I think about the first thing they did was put on a rubber roof. That building has a rubber roof on it. So, and then they started remodeling inside to get it up to date. And we had the kitchen. We had the kitchen there made up, so we had wedding receptions and parties where we would serve food in there too. And then they fixed up the bathrooms. There was 2 nice-sized bathrooms in there, and we got them all fixed up. So then we started catering service there too, and they had bartenders for different occasions too, in there to serve the beer. So, but the building once housed a class act dance studio, and it had Coach's Corner. Vision Quest was upstairs, and there was studio upstairs too at one
Studio
time.
dance.
Dance uptown. And this was a lady from Carver. Can't think of her name. Virginia. Jenny.
Rose, no, I don't know.
I can't think of her name.
Paula was one of them. Paula was her daughter, but
Before you move away from your building, did you bring in any events yourself, or was it just like a catering?
No, the first thing we did when we opened it up, we had a New Year's Eve party. And we sold tickets and we had a band in there, and that was packed house that night.
we'd
Oh,
we'd have several dances throughout a year,
Yeah.
and then we would rent it out for wedding receptions.
Right.
You know, birthday parties, showers,
Sure.
you know, bridal showers
Sure.
and stuff.
But because of the way the building was, I thought you might have done some things yourself, which you said you did.
Yeah. We promoted some of the stuff
Sure.
ourselves to
Yes.
get everybody to come back. Because when I was married back in '76, I had my wedding reception up there. So
So on the second floor?
on the
First-
first,
Oh, okay,
first floor.
okay, all right.
So it was originally a dance
hall.
like a
Right,
hall, like
right.
an opera house back then they called them.
Did I understand there was a basketball floor in there? Or am I getting the wrong?
Years ago, they used to play basketball in there.
Okay.
And what organization was that? That had that fancy wallpaper upstairs.
Was it the Elks or the
The Masons were up there.
Masons?
Masons.
Oh.
Masons were up there.
All right.
Yes. And they had real fancy wallpaper up there in that room. So, but, and then there was a stage in there that the Historical Society got the curtain. We gave the curtain to them.
And I've seen that. That's in the depot.
We donated that to the Historical Society.
So once my dad decided he liked doing this stuff, he did several more buildings then in town, and that's what he did after he retired. He thought, I'm gonna just revitalize Elmore.
Well, we were tired.
Yeah, Dad was retired, but then he decided to do all this renovation type. He was retired from Libby Owens.
Yeah, I was thinking I got called one night because the door was left unlocked and I had to get out of bed and get dressed and go up there and lock the door. The police called me.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yes, they found the door unlocked, front door.
Yeah, so.
So that must have been working then. I forgot. It's been a long time ago. So, but,
And these probably aren't in order, are they?
no.
I don't know what order it really was.
I don't know either. I don't remember.
Yeah, so we'll just go with how they are, how
Sure,
we have
just-
them down. Yeah.
I think Lori Joe's was about next to that one.
Which
That-
is cut and loose
Yes,
at Lori Joe's.
But it's cutting edge now.
Oh, yeah, it's
So-
changed names, same owner, but just
Yeah.
has changed names a little bit.
Right. This building housed the 5 and 10 cent store in Elmore. Raiders owned it. And also Rollins Refrigeration was in there after the 5 and 9. And that was bought by Rollins then. And when we had it, in the back, Pena County rented from us back of the cutting edge in the rear by the alley, and they had classes in there every day for school. So the kids from different schools that came in here for whatever they had in there. And they come from all over.
It's probably part of where the massage person is
Right,
now.
it's back where the massages at now. That used to be.
Yes.
Mhm. And in the front's always been a beauty shop since we purchased it and redone it then. So,
Is there anything in the beauty shop that shows it used to be a mortuary? Because they told me one time that there was like some kind of
They sold
Oh,
furniture?
yeah.
Is
there
that-
was where they kept the caskets, wasn't it?
yeah, like a dumbwaiter or something in the back that would for the embalmed bodies or something. Lori Jo had said something about
Oh,
it. I
really?
was just wondering if
Yeah.
you saw that when you were gutting it out and everything.
I don't remember that. But that could have been.
That wasn't in as bad a shape as the Opera House.
No.
Wasn't the Opera House that had that old elevator in it, or was that the building?
That's the next one, where
Okay.
Hickman was in.
Okay,
You pulled it by a rope.
yeah,
Sure.
okay.
And, now we got the gathering place that's uptown now. That used to be the snack bar years ago where Esto Longnecker owned it.
Mhm.
And had ice cream and sandwiches and stuff like that in there.
That's where you used to go to deliver the papers.
Yes, we
mornings you'd
used to
go.
have to go there and sort papers on, or put the Sunday paper together when my son delivered it. About 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Sure.
And then when it was purchased, it had been a Potsy resident, a
Restaurant.
restaurant, excuse me. And then a pet store. It was a girl from Gibsonburg that had a pet store in there
Oh.
for a while.
I think
And
that's one I had never heard before, that there was a pet
They
store.
had,
Oh.
they had some different kind of animals in there.
Yeah. I think there for a while they sold a lot of animals, but I think then kind of wore out. And then it was, after that, Alvin Rupke, Vision Quest, was in those stores there, the
And
one.
he had moved from the Opera House because he needed more space, and this was bigger
Right.
for him.
Right,
over
because
there.
he was growing, his business was
Sure.
growing, and he had more room. And then, after that, I think it sat empty until, we sold it. I don't know who we sold it to though. Cause then that's what part of
That
Red,
wasn't
White,
the
Blue-
hardware store. No.
The old Kroger store at one time. I think, yeah, I can tell, but remember the steps, yeah.
Wasn't that the old hardware store where Hellway's was? Which building was Hellway's, the hardware store?
I think it was part in there. I was not here that
The
long ago.
doors,
but I-
yeah, I think that was used to be the hardware store too, didn't it?
Could have been, but
Because
it
he
was,
wasn't on the corner.
because there was a Kroger store too then.
Oh, I don't remember that. That was before my.
No, that's back in my day,
Yeah.
when every little town had a Kroger store.
Yeah. Had a store.
Right, had a store,
We don't
right,
have any.
yeah.
Besides carryouts, yeah.
And of course, in the corner, that used to be a Christian bookstore.
With the red, white, and bruise.
Yes, and Dwayne Priest owned that. And it also housed the Vision Quest, Coach's Corner, and then at one time Country Carpet was in there when,
Before they moved, is that the same one that moved down the street then?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
that
so.
was-
Next to the restaurant, next to the
The guy
village.
that lives on 105. I think his name
Squire.
Squires.
Okay.
Mr.
Squires
Squires.
Owned it then.
Carpet store. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of different businesses.
Yeah, I guess.
Of course, then we had where the pizza place is at. We bought that from Stockmaster. It was always called, it was called Bisanella when the
Gerwins took it up from
Germans
Gibsonburg, took it over.
Yes. But there was another one in there before that had Bisanella too, and I can't think of his name.
I don't know, but it's always been a pizza place.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
And
know
then
that. Is that about the pizza place?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
we bought that in 204.
2004.
In place by Jim Ford. He sold pizzas to the pizza place to Charlie Gruber now.
So that was your last renovation, was started
No,
2000?
and then we got Mastermind.
All right.
We had the Mastermind building too, and then Bruce Heckman bought that then.
And that is,
Right
Next
next to the Opera House now,
Okay,
or where the school central
Yeah.
office is.
okay,
Yeah, it's right next door to that.
okay.
And that was Tri-County Plumbing, and it was Jager's
Low
Hardware.
Now
damn
I know
sure.
exactly what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was bought from Steve Artman and Lowell Hampshire.
Is that the one with the elevator?
Yes,
That
and
was
that
with
had
the
the
elevator?
dumbwaiter in it. And you had to pull it with a rope to get up from one floor to the other floor.
And that was just to move merchandise?
Mhm.
Okay.
Must have been from
Well,
plumbing.
yeah, but I've been there, but a couple times.
Yeah.
So, you have any questions?
Yeah, do you have any stories about, like stories of interest about any of the places, things that happened as you were renovating or odd things you ran into as you were renovating?
Well, one thing my dad did was he went to Sherwin-Williams, didn't he, to get color schemes for painting the outside, trying to get it back to its original time frame
Yes.
color,
Yes.
he tried to keep it, tried not to modernize it maybe as much, keep it back to its
Yes.
original, however you want to say that.
The only one he really changed was the Opera House and Vision Mastermind.
Yeah, but he painted them and put new windows in some of them, and I mean, he did a lot of renovations
Well,
inside
he put
of them.
brick in those two bad because the fronts were so bad.
Oh, yeah.
The windows were so bad, he had to replace windows.
He actually bought these buildings that were almost falling apart and brought them back to life.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like there was a lot of work in the Opera House.
He spent a lot of hours, a lot of man hours to bring them back.
Yeah, he-
hauling stuff out. That was probably the worst thing,
He-
cleaning them out.
He had hired people to help
Yeah.
too.
But you as a family did a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had the Opera House. I was a cook. My brother was a bartender. I mean, we were the cleanup crew. We were the setup crew. We
Well,
just-
it seems like the Opera House took the longest probably because it was a heavier renovation. Do you know how long it took?
Probably close to a year.
yeah, I
didn't
would say.
I would have guessed. Close
Yeah, I
to
think
it.
it was
See,
close
right?
to
I mean,
you.
I remember working in there and you would blow dust out of your nose because you'd be in there and it was just, from everything falling and the rain coming in.
Sure.
I mean, you can just imagine them trying to scoop,
Yeah.
scoop that stuff
Both from
up.
the roof and maybe old carpet.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh,
Once we got it cleaned out, then it looked a lot better.
Yeah, after we painted it. and put
Because
new
I always thought,
ceiling in it.
oh my gosh, Dad, what are you getting into?
Yeah,
Why are you doing this?
I thought he was nuts for a while.
But
Just on the first one or what? Subsequent?
he did good. He did good.
Good.
He did good for the town, so that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he kind of revitalized Elmore, you know, brought it
Good.
back to life because
Yes.
there wasn't hardly anything here.
But as you renovated them, people did take them over, so you did do exactly what he had intended to do with it.
Right, right. You know, people are still in them, and they're still.
And most of the buildings, he told the people when they rented them, the time comes you want to buy them, I will sell them to you. And that's what he did with most of them. People that rented them got to buy.
Great.
Like Lori Joe bought hers and
Pizza place.
Pizza place.
His Vision Quest, and did he buy those? Are both of those businesses one business, Coach's Corner and Vision
They're
Quest?
housed together now on the corner where the bowling alley used to be,
Yes.
because he
Yes.
needed more space. But
Right.
Yeah.
the lady that runs Coach's Corner works for Vision Quest. So
Okay.
they've always been together.
Yeah,
They kind of rolled over business
Right,
to each
right,
other. I
yeah.
haven't- yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. He's probably the only one that didn't buy, because he went to the bigger
Bigger
he had
building.
to go to a bigger building eventually. Because Mastermind did. Of course, we didn't sell it to the Red, White, and Brew, I don't think. I don't remember.
No, we sold it to the bookstore.
Okay, yeah.
And then we got,
Lori Joe, we did. Blair's bought the Opera House when it was Blair Insurance. They bought
yeah,
that.
Did you say what it was before it was the Christian bookstore? When you got it, what it had been?
empty store.
Okay.
Oh, well, let me see now.
Oh, it was the Carpet Place, but that was after the bookstore.
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I can remember that as a Kroger store, I think.
Okay.
Where is that one at?
So the Kroger store probably incorporated both sections, both of those buildings.
And then at one time, I think one of the Wises owned too. When they had, bought businesses here in Elmore.
And when did you come to Elmore?
1959.
Okay. So you've been here quite a long time. Let's tap into some of your other memories then. Do you remember anything of the Elmore homecomings and how they were set up? And do you have any comments?
We used to, when the parade was, we used to put the race car in there. We used to have a race car.
What kind?
Sprint.
Okay.
Sprint car raced at Fremont and Finley. We used to put that in the parade. So, and they always, you guys always went up to the homecoming, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, I can remember that a little bit.
So,
Okay. Do you have any specific memories on something like, the blizzard of '78?
Oh,
That was
yeah.
tough for everybody.
oh yeah, I remember that. Because I was driving a school bus then.
Oh gosh. Well, give
He
us
wasn't
information.
then. He wasn't during that time. But
No, but I got up and I looked out and I seen that wind and the snow and I thought, there's no way I'm going to drive bus today.
Right. Did you have any other issues? You weren't renovating at the time. You were just raising the children then.
Yes.
Were there any issues about getting to, well, besides school and driving bus, obviously, but how long were you snowed in?
Oh.
a couple of days. We had snowmobiles. I think we had a snowmobile at the time.
Well, we didn't have school. How many days was school canceled?
I was out of high school by then, so I don't know.
And then a funny thing happened when I drove bus. The superintendent told us to go out and take our buses and try to get through, see if we get through the roads. Well, the one bus driver, she had to go out towards the Oak Harbor area, and the National Guard was out there plowing the road.
So did,
And he said, "What the hell are you doing out here with the school bus?" I'll never forget that. And they called the superintendent and told him about it.
Well, at least they didn't put that on her.
Right, right.
You did a really excellent job with the buildings. Do you want to tell us any stories about, interesting characters that you've met in Elmore as a young person, or anyone who influenced you? Do I take that as a no?
just trying to think.
I kind of think too.
Yeah.
Did you attend Elmore schools?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I've lived in Elmore almost all my.
Okay.
all my life.
All right, you were only born in Gibsonburg, basically.
Right.
Okay, sure. Well, then, do you have any school memories that you'd like to tell us about?
I remember when Woodville and Elmore consolidated. I was like 6th grade. That was a big deal. Because then I had to start riding the bus to Woodville as
Yeah.
opposed to staying in Elmore.
And walking.
Yeah.
And friends had to have changed somewhat.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't remember it as being a bad experience, though. It's just,
Just
it's
different.
just different
Yeah.
because you were consolidating new kids, and now from being in Elmore and going to the Elmore school, I had to be transported to Woodville. But
Was that school in Woodville already existing?
Yes.
Okay. So you just
I graduated in
consolidated.
'74
Okay.
from high school. So. Yeah.
Well, I think we've run out of our questions. Do you have anything you'd like to add? You've got to have a ton of information on these buildings, but I don't know exactly what to ask.
Yeah, if my dad was here, he'd have
Yeah.
a lot more
Yeah.
to give you.
Yes.
He dug in and he probably would have tales to tell on what
Yeah.
he found inside
Sure.
these buildings,
Sure.
that was left. But
Well, we found some old things up in the hardware, Jager's hardware stuff. Did you find a bed?
oh no, it was like it had like inlaid ivory in it, and I've always tried to do research. I still have it. It's up in above my garage. It was like a square table. It had inlaid ivory, and it had these 4 posts for the table, and they have the inlaid in them too. It's really weird.
That would be
I never
unusual, yeah.
Yeah, I could never find anything. I took it because it was unusual, but I haven't done anything with it.
Well, and real ivory is very rare now to have inlaid in anything or even
Yeah.
be something made out of it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's, fake or if it's good, because some of the ivory has fallen out of it, but who knows how old
Sure.
how old it is.
Randy took an old desk chair. It was on wheels. It was up there. He's got that.
Yeah, you kind of forget about that stuff till somebody
Yeah.
jogs your memory.
Did you find paperwork like ledgers, anything?
I don't remember anything like that.
Well, that's good.
Um,
And just dump it.
Yeah, and I don't think when Dad found something that was unusual, he didn't throw it away.
Yeah.
He, gave it, tried to find some, but
But it's nice to know that the previous owners didn't just dump it either.
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
Well, that's all the questions we have.
I was going to say we didn't find much of value in the opera house when we cleaned that
Yeah.
out.
Was there
Wow.
signage? What do I want to say? Posters, anything like that in the opera house?
No
Yeah,
pictures.
pretty much
There was
cleaned
nothing
out.
of hardly any value, because if it was ruined.
Sure.
because
Well,
of,
and it had changed over.
and I'm not
Yeah.
sure how long
Purposes.
it sat like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it sat there quite a while because
So
and just got deteriorated. The roof and everything. So
Did you have any additional? I think that's all the questions we have, and thank you so much for coming in and
You're welcome.
giving us this information.
Take 2. Okay. What church did you attend here
Grace
right now?
Lutheran.
Grace Lutheran. Can you tell me anything about that or the people that you met through church?
wasn't it over here on?
It was
Ottawa.
when we first joined over here on Ottawa Street by the post office.
Is it Maple or?
Maple.
Ottawa's across the park.
Yeah,
It's
Maple Street.
We were
went
there.
there first, and then we bought the land out at Whitty Road in 51, and then
1962, I think they built out there.
and built that church. We've had several different ministers. See, Pastor Myers was here when we first joined over here. And we had Pastor Hagan,
Clark.
Pastor Clark, Pastor Bill Meyer, and now Pastor Neville. So,
And did you partake in any clubs or something in within the church?
well, I help with funeral luncheons a
Yeah.
lot. There when When I was driving bus, I couldn't do nothing. I only made things for them, and now that I retired from driving bus, you know, I do help for funeral lunches and stuff like that.
I taught Sunday school for probably, well, when my kids started in Sunday school till they graduated, I did like 15 years of teaching Sunday school.
Oh wow, but that was fun.
So, and then once my kids graduated from high school, it's okay, I'm done, someone else can take their turn, but that was fun.
I was a Sunday school teacher when you guys were little. I forgot about that.
So, did Vacation Bible School and worked at the church for a while, secretary of the church, so.
And did you meet any interesting families while in church that maybe they were more involved or something?
Oh, Ed Lamb, Ed and Nita Lamb, those two just passed away last year, I think it was. They was an interesting couple.
Well, they're the ones that had that, like roundhouse on South River Road on your way to Woodville by Opferlentz Road. They lived there.
Yeah,
he was like a professor. He was a unique guy.
Yeah, he worked at Terra Community College, and she was an RN nurse. So they were interesting to people. It was sad to see them both go so close together.
And when was that?
Was that last year, or will it be 2 years?
He was probably 2010 and she was 2011.
Okay.
The end of 2010 for Ed, and then she was in 2011 in the spring maybe.
Because she had cancer.
She was diagnosed with cancer, and then
He
he
was-
after that was diagnosed with ALS, and he ended up dying before she did then.
So it was real nice people.
And were either of you involved in any organizations or clubs within town or maybe on the outskirts or something?
I used to be a den mother for Cub Scouts.
Oh yeah, what troop?
314, I think it was.
The one over here?
Is that the one in Elmore here?
I think
You
so.
remember?
So,
And what years were those?
oh my gosh. Well, it's when Randy was in Cub Scouts. So he was born in 54, probably in the early
60s.
60, maybe 62, 63, somewhere in there.
And that is something we didn't ask about your children. Do you have other children?
I have a total of 4.
Okay.
Randy and Becky, and a son Douglas, and a daughter Vicky. I had boy, girl, boy, girl.
Talented.
So,
Yeah.
see, Randy lives in Woodville, Becky lives here in Elmore, Doug lives with me. He's got MD, and our daughter Vicky lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. So, she got down there for her job. So she worked for Microsoft.
Wow.
Travel, she's been in all the continents. 7 continents she's been in. She traveled for them. So, she's got a lot of flying miles.
Yeah.
What about you, Becky? Were you involved in anything in town?
I did Girl Scouts too. I'm just trying to, it's been such, seems like a long time ago, but I was involved with the school, my kids went to school with the PTO, different things. I was involved with that, and had a son that played football that we, did meals for the football teams, and so very active with that, and I've drove school bus for 20 years. So hopefully I only have like 4 or 5 more years to go. So, and just very active with the kids, t-ball and softball, and they took gymnastics and they took tap and, all that kind of stuff. And I used to be a stay-at-home mom and babysit other kids and stuff. And then kids got older, I decided to drive a school bus. So, but now I'm a grandma. So.
Of course, I'm a great grandma then.
Great. I think that's all I got. Anything else you
Excuse
can
me.
think of you want to add? Well, thank you.